and go ahead and screen share. And Jacqueline, whenever I throw it over to you, just unmute yourself and you'll pop up. Let me go over here. Okay, can everybody see? Okay, so before I hand it over to Jacqueline, I wanted to just kind of give a little intro. So 22 Minute Hardcore is launching very shortly. Ooh, spinning wheel of death. And I know that a lot of you guys, hopefully all of you guys, have at least tried the Cardio 1 workout that was available on demand on last Monday and Super Bowl Sunday. If not, that's okay, because the program's going to come out soon, so you can try it shortly. But this is the newest program from Beachbody and from Tony Horton, who is the trainer that does all of the P90X programs. So he is kind of a big deal. And this is a completely new type of program for him. And I think that it's going to be something that really surprises people with how much they love it. So I was asked to join the test group in December, and it came at a really great time for me personally, because I had definitely plateaued a little bit in my weight loss. A lot of you guys know I started coaching in 2013, and I had 70 pounds to lose when I signed up as a coach. So I was definitely not what a fitness coach looks like, if there is such thing, but I was not at my after just yet. I was not even in progress. I was completely a before when I started. And the programs that helped me lose that weight were T25, 21 Day Fix, and PiYo, which were the programs that kind of came out during that time frame of when I was kind of in the journey. But after I hit that 70-pound mark, I kind of had a hard time knowing what was next for me, because I felt so proud of myself, and I kind of let off the gas a little bit because I wasn't working so like one-track mindedly towards a fitness goal. And I kind of hopped around from program to program, and I tried some of the new ones here and there, but I was never fully committed to one in particular. I did a few rounds of different things, and I kind of yo-yoed the same 10 pounds on and off and on and off and on and off for a year, pretty much. And in December, I was just going through personally kind of a challenging time for myself, for my business, for my health journey, and I didn't know what direction to go in. And that was when they invited me to join the test group, and it was just serendipitous timing, because it has ended up being something that has completely transformed how I feel about fitness, how I feel about my body, and kind of brought me back to life even in a new way. So I have had an incredible experience, and I am the first person to say that I was super skeptical about this program when I first heard about it, and even when they asked me to be in the test group, because I historically don't love Tony Horton's programs, mostly just because they're really challenging. And I'm someone who doesn't love cardio, and I don't love working out for a long amount of time. So P90X and those hour-and-a-half workouts were not something that I was into. And I was just really intimidated by him, knowing how incredible of a trainer he is and how challenging his programs are. I was really nervous. And I thought that I wasn't maybe going to love this program as much as some of the other ones that have come out in the last 2 years, but I actually love it more. So we're going to be talking about all of the details that we can about the launch to help you guys get ready. And Jacqueline has graciously kind of put together a guide that she is going to kind of share from her perspective of how she thinks is a great way to get ready for the launch, and then also sharing a little bit about her experience in the test group as well. So Jacqueline, if you will just want to unmute yourself and take over, and I'll just flip your slides for you.
Sure, sounds good. So hi guys. I'm super stoked to be here. This kind of impromptu. So I'm thankful that I get the opportunity, because any chance I get to talk about 22 Minute Hardcore, I'm with Becca. I'm such a fangirl of it. But unlike Becca, I have been a fangirl of Tony Horton programs for quite some time. Long before I ever became a coach, I was doing Kenpo X while I was about 7 months pregnant with my daughter, and I slipped a rib. So that was unpleasant. But needless to say, when this came out, we got it announced at Leadership, and I looked at Meredith, who's my success partner and coach, and I said, this one's mine. I want to be part of this launch group specifically more than any other one that ever has been launched. And she looked at me kind of crazily, although she knew I like had this total like fangirl for Tony Horton programs. I'm a yogi. I teach yoga. I live in Hawaii. I tend to veer toward more of the low impact style workouts. But the idea that it was 22 minutes, I'm a military spouse, it was boot camp themed. I like to, if I'm going to do endurance type stuff, I want to get in, I want to get it done, and I want to know that I've worked my hardest in the shortest amount of time doing most effective workouts, and that's exactly what this does. So I think the first slide kind of goes over about like why it's so important to go, why it's so important to get behind launches. So I don't know how many of you guys are seasoned coaches versus brand new. So I'm just going to say when Beachbody gives us this opportunity to launch new programs, anytime that there's something new, it's like a shiny new object. Like it's good for us to get behind it, even if it's a little bit outside our comfort zone, because it's the first time it's been made available. Beachbody is going to do an amazing job knocking it out of the park with their marketing plan, but what we can bring to the table is our personal experience. So as coaches, I encourage everyone, even if this seems like it's a little far stretch from where you're sitting today in your comfort zone, take advantage of it. Try it out. You know, Becca is your upline. She's had this opportunity to be a part of the test group. Maybe you can link arms with her. I'm doing like a group team-wide, like focused pilot group for this launch. But then you can get all that energy, those people that might be intrigued as to what this is all about and really jumpstart your business. For me, launching my business in the very beginning, it was coincided with the launch of P90X3. That's when I first became a brand new coach. And so getting behind that launch and having people, you know, get excited with me and do it with me really catapulted my business forward. I went elite in my first year. And I think it's no small coincidence that because I jumped in and I immediately started inviting people to take the journey with me from that first launch, that it really gave me that kind of burst growth that I know Eric Worre talks about in GoPro, you know, burst growth where you have a lot of people join you at one time, you guys link arms together and you start with that. So that's why I say not to miss the boat on releases. And there's things you can do, like taking advantage of the fact that you have Becca as part of your upline, looking at some of the other coaches that took part in the test group, sharing their photos and their stories. But then also, if you did do those workouts, hopefully you took pictures, and when you had the opportunity to have a sneak peek, did a little video and sharing little snippets of those as we lead up to launch next week and getting your kit right away, sharing your experience, how you're liking it, and just building it up and reaching out. I think the next slide is how do you prep for it? Like I said, do the videos, start talking about what it is, how this can help you, or if it's a stretch for you, you're maybe a little nervous about it, but how that can be a good thing. Talk about, you know, how stepping outside of your comfort zone is a way to, you know, advance to the next fitness level or advance to the next confidence level in what your abilities are. I personally put together, not to talk like over anybody's head, but like just a little like lead page, which is just simply if you have an email newsletter service, you can have somebody put in their email. And that way I keep everybody that wants to specifically do hardcore in one group and I can send them out an email. Another easy way to do that is just say drop your email below if you're interested, or open up a Facebook event page and share, you know, they can share little details about it leading up to that day, what they can be excited about. Next one would be, I don't know, I keep going to click it on my own. I don't have the control panel today. I'm out of my comfort zone. So the pilot group, again, this is for newer coaches. It's just the opportunity to build hype around the fact that it's a brand new program. This is the first time it's being launched. So pilot group, they're going to be amongst the first batch of people like Becca and I to go through this program. And just like Becca and I are going to have the opportunity to submit our results and before the actual official infomercial launches, anybody that takes part in the first pilot group that you do, encourage them to join the Beachbody Challenge. They'll get their t-shirt, they'll get the opportunity to win some money, and their results will actually go in and be amongst the first that Beachbody looks at to submit for the infomercial. So it's kind of an exciting thing because if they want to really have that next layer of accountability, saying, hey, your results could potentially be on TV right alongside these other coaches that did the test group, which is always something that I know, at least for my groups, they've kind of been excited about. So share that opportunity with them. Next one is my favorite things. All right, so of course it was Tony. And what I think I like to draw attention to is the fact that I like his quirky personality. I've worked out with him several times in person on the first Beachbody cruise I went on. He's been here to Hawaii. He actually proposed to his now wife here in Hawaii on their last trip here and did a Super Saturday event with us. So I've gotten to experience like his personality in person too. So I'm always just drawn to him as a trainer. I think we all have that like one trainer we're kind of drawn to. So he has his personality in this, but he's dialed it back enough that it's down to business like the whole time. I don't know if Becca can agree with this, but it's not like a lot of filler or commentary like in some of his other programs. It's like, hey, we're going to get this done. It's 22 minutes. We cut the fluff. Let's do this. But it's in a very supportive way. So it's not, I've heard concerns that because it's military themes, it's very boot camp-ish in that he's drilling you. And it's a cadence is more what the boot camp theme is. It's a cadence where they count. But it's not like they're yelling at you. It's not like I heard people say, I don't want to go to boot camp for real, and then come home and get actually yelled at. I was like, well, no, it's not like that. He's still his quirky self, but he just really gets it done in a shorter amount of time. I've gotten great results. I know Becca has too. I shared with her that I started out around 137. I kind of put on the holiday fluff, I like to call it. It wasn't anything I was too overly concerned with, but it was definitely something that I wanted to trim down. So my goals coming into this was just to achieve overall tone definition. I wasn't as concerned about weight loss, but saying that, I've dropped about 7 pounds. I've gotten an inch when we did our halfway results, which this program is 60 days. So I did my halfway results at 40. And it was, I'd lost an inch everywhere. So an inch everywhere. And I told Becca earlier, I don't get on scales. I wouldn't even have one if it wasn't the fact that I'm in the test group. I just don't think they're necessary. I'd much rather go off of how I feel. But I believe I'll probably have gained weight because I'm putting on some muscle in my upper body, but I feel good. Like I feel definitely the way things are fitting. I'm very happy with the overall results. And I'm excited to actually do my final pictures this weekend. The fixed meal plan, I believe we can share that. Hopefully we can share that because I have it on here. We have the fixed meal plan that's going to come as part of the challenge pack. And you're also going to have the opportunity to get the deluxe kit, which has a nifty sandbag that's over in the corner. So we use our fun sandbag. I was a little intimidated of that at first. I gave my hubby the responsibility of filling up the sandbag, which he filled it to capacity. And I was like, that's not gonna work, especially since about 2 weeks before the launch of this program, I fully tore my labrum in my right shoulder. I had a partial tear for years that I had in the hospital. I'm a nurse and I was moving a gurney, partially tore it, rehabbed it, thought it was good. Of course, before Christmas, was doing some lifting with my husband, fully tore it and was really scared. My first thought was not, oh, my arm, it was, I can't do hardcore. But I was able to modify enough, which I think is important to draw attention to because I did have an injury that I have had to nurse. And I can share with you a little bit about that when we get into equipment. But the other thing I love was that the moves that we did in this program, a lot of times you'll see things that are very familiar. They're just in a different sequence. This, I feel like, has a lot of unique moves. Like, I legitimately have never done a California roll or a rolling burpee. And you guys might be like, what? But they're actually kind of fun. And what's great about it is that I'm moving my body in different ways. So by doing that, you're achieving muscle confusion. And so you're achieving different definition in other spots. I'm getting sore in areas that weren't getting attention before. So I know that that's a good thing for me because that's the only way you're going to change those trouble spots that are stubborn for you. So I love that about it. And it's simple enough and you can modify it. There's nothing that's overtly complicated. I think on the next slide, if you kept that one in there, Becca, I talk a little bit about equipment. So yes, he does use equipment. No, you don't need a pull-up bar. You can achieve the same effect with a resistance band and a door anchor. And I tell people if you want to get really ghetto, you can just take a men's tube sock and slam that bad boy up in a door too. That works just as fine to pull down. Just make sure it's secure. You'll whack yourself in the head. But I had to use the pull down at first, then I had my pull-up bar installed and I got the chin up max. Get the chin up max. I guarantee it. Not just for people that has injuries, but it's like a little alley-oop. You put your foot in a little stirrup, it hooks onto your chin-up bar, and make sure, something I shared with my team, go ahead and with this list, go and get your links ready for it already. So that way when you have people that are interested and they ask you what they need, you can be like, hey, I've already got this nifty little email together and you're gonna need these things and you can get them all through Beachbody. P.S. might as well sign up as a coach so you can get a discount on all of it. Good idea. No. So you can have those things ready. Chin Up Max is in the Beachbody thing. You can also get them on Amazon if you want to give people links for that. light and medium weights. I started out again with just light stuff because I had to keep everything very in. I couldn't do anything broad and I couldn't do anything too heavy. So I started with 5s and 8s. Maybe Becca can share what she used. And I worked my way up to, sometimes I'll use the 8s. I'm between the 10 and the 12s now. So I did invest in that next setup for myself. I used a jump mat and the sandbag is almost full now, which I believe at full it's 20 pounds, but I started out with it around 15 to 12, and now I can actually do the moves with the sandbags. So that's what go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna add to this. Everything she said, 100%. I have the my brain just stopped. What is it called? The Chin Up Assist. I have the one from Beachbody, and it is incredible, and it has helped. It has helped me so much because, especially for women, we don't usually have a lot of upper body strength. And in a program that you have to do pull-ups, if you can't do a pull-up at all, you can't really progress very much. Like if you literally can't even do one, which was how I was when I started. So the Chin Up Max Bar just gives you resistance against your foot. You're basically putting your foot in a stirrup that's attached to a rubber band. So it kind of pushes up against your foot as you're pulling yourself up. So it's almost like someone giving you like she said, a little alley-oop. And then you can set the resistance by how long or how short your stirrup is. So when you start, you may have it, with giving you the most push. And then as you go through the program, you can go less and less. And you're actually finally building up strength so that you can do unassisted ones, hopefully by the end. Or, that may be something that takes you even more than one round to work towards. I mean, I can barely do maybe 2 on a good day, and it's been 8 weeks, but that's okay. Like it's something that we work for, and I use the Chin Up Max and I get a crazy burn still. So don't feel like that's cheaping out on the workout because it's still intense.
Yeah, you're definitely not cheating by using the Chin Up Max.
No, it is not easy. So Beachbody has a jump mat. You guys have seen me talk about it because it always goes on sale on Black Friday, and I always talk about how much I love mine. This is a great time if you don't have one to maybe try it and to also talk about it because it really helps with, there's a lot of moves where you're going from up to down, and there's a lot of core work where you're going to be on your back or on your like plank kind of positions where you're on your wrists, a lot of burpees where you're going on your wrists, and having that extra cushion, it really does help and make a good difference on your knees, on your wrists, on your tailbone for the core work, all of that stuff. So Beachbody's jump mat is really good. I don't know if any of you guys are into yoga, but they're like Manduka mats that are super thick. Beachbody's jump mat is like that too. But instead of being kind of slick like a yoga mat, it's got some texture a little bit more than that would be. So it's really, really nice. Like she said, the sandbag will come, but you can use weights too. I actually didn't use my sandbag for a really long time just because I was being slow at going and getting sand. So I used free weights. So you kind of have the option with a lot of the moves that you use the sandbag for to just use weights. So, you can go either way with that. But the sandbag is kind of fun because it's different than weights. It has 2 grip handles. So you kind of can flip it around and stuff. And it's just it's a cool new challenge. And like Jacqueline said, you control how heavy it is. So you can add more sand, add less sand as you go through the program. So I totally forgot to tell you some of the amazing things about Jacqueline in the beginning. So I want to take a second to do that before. I met Jacqueline kind of through the internet because I was following her and Meredith, who you guys know, she's spoken on a call, they're teammates, and they are both into yoga and so cool, and she has this beautiful daughter and they live in Hawaii, and I was so inspired by her, and I got to meet you in person, I think the first time at NLC, right?
The New Leader Conference, yep.
Not the one that just happened, but the one the year before.
First ever.
Yeah, it was very exciting. Rookie class. So Jacqueline went elite her first year, which is pretty crazy. And she is now a 2-time elite coach. So she went elite the first time and then again last year. She's a Success Club 5 All-Star Legend, which means she's had Success Club for at least 24 consecutive months. She's a 5-star diamond coach. And she's just super positive, has this really cool energy. If you guys haven't seen her kind of the stuff that she puts out online. It's really, really positive. She's got a big family focus. It's really cool. So don't think that just because you're not like fitness buff crazy person that you can't get into this program, because you can love yoga, you can be a mom, you can be someone who's not, you know, super into working out and still get a lot out of it. Speaking of which, let me show you some of our progress photos. So
Becca, I wanted to add, like, before we like left the equipment stuff, this isn't equipment related, but I don't know, did you do the performance line?
oh yes, great.
Yes.
Did you do it?
I wanted to make sure we mentioned, because I was not a fan, just candidly, of the performance line at first. I kind of was like, I do my vegan Shakeology and I'm good with all that. But being that this was a more intense program, I was like, you know what, test group, I'm going to try it out. I'll give it another go. And I'm so glad I did. Complete transparency, I switched from E&E to Energize. I still don't use the Hydrate as much. It's not something I feel like need, but I did really heavily rely on the Recharge and the Recover. And I've become such a huge fan of both, mainly on my resistance days, but you alternate days between cardio and resistance. So I just felt that was worth plugging. And I can weigh in on what you did too.
Absolutely. So I pretty much the same boat. I drank vegan chocolate almost exclusively for the last year and a half or 2 years. And I was just not super into the performance line because, as I've said, I'm not someone who does like crazy programs where I felt like I needed performance products. Like I do PiYo and 21 Day Fix. So I didn't feel like I was really like doing anything long enough or hard enough that I would need it. But when we did the test group, they told us we either had to commit to it or not commit. Like we couldn't like dabble in it, because when they share our results, they need to be able to say like, this is someone who did the program and the performance line, or this is someone who just did the program. So I decided to just go all in because I wanted the experience as a coach of doing a program with the performance line to be able to talk about it. And like Jacqueline, a huge convert. Like I don't know how I ever worked out before without Energize, because I had E&E, which I enjoyed, but I like Energize so much better. So if you guys have been around a while, you may know that I deal with anxiety. It's been something I've had my whole life. So I actually, you know, like I've been told by my counselors, don't go crazy with the caffeine. Like that's just a trigger for people that deal with this. And so I'm always wary of like energy performance products. And I was really nervous about Energize because a lot of the time when I try pre-workout things, that's like that big boost, I get like super anxious and shaky. Yeah. And I just don't like.
I do too. I'm the same way, Becca. Same way. I've always had problems with it. I've always avoided them like the plague.
Yeah. And it's not that I feel sick or like really bad. It's just a general sense of like ickiness. And then it's hard for me to shake it through the workout. And then if I don't actually do a good workout, you don't burn off all the energy. So it's like a bad cycle you're stuck in. But I love Energize. I have drank it for almost every workout. And the ones that I didn't, I regretted it like 10 minutes into the workout that I hadn't. I love it. After the workout's done, I don't feel like it lingers with me for a long time. I like to use the phrase like you kind of burn it off, because you have all this like boost of energy and it helps you just go 110%. And when you do that, like afterwards you feel kind of like back to baseline, which I love. Like I love not having that lingering weird, like kind of racy heart almost kind of feeling, which Energize is insane. Plus it tastes good. It's lemon flavored. It's almost like a lemon Gatorade situation. I didn't drink Hydrate every day, although I do really like Hydrate. I just, I got lazy about the fact of like having to go mid workout and make like extra Hydrate to drink while I was working out. But I really do like Hydrate, and I did drink it probably about half of my workouts. Half I didn't, just because of time or not being organized enough before I started. And Recharge and Recover, especially the vanilla overnight one. It's full of BCAAs, which are branched chain amino acids, which help your muscles to rebuild overnight. And this program, it is the fix meal plan, but it's not necessarily the 21-day fix meal plan. So there's not a lot of treats or cheats included in this meal plan like there is in the original 21-day fix. So my weak spot is getting like snacky for stuff at night, and drinking the vanilla drink at night really helped me to not like have late night snacks. And you guys know I stay up really late, so sometimes I get hungry again before bed because it's been a while since dinner. So I would make my vanilla shake, and I actually really enjoyed it. I would actually blend mine up with ice and drink it like a smoothie and put cinnamon in it. And some days I would save one of my carbs and throw some almond milk in there and make it like a dessert treat before bed. And sometimes I would just shake it up normal. So I really liked it. I liked the flavor. I didn't think it tasted gross at all. The chocolate one is insane. It tastes like Yoo-Hoo, if you guys remember Yoo-Hoo. It's my husband's favorite thing. He makes a chocolate it's Recover is chocolate and vanilla is Recharge, right? I always get them mixed up. He makes a chocolate Recover every time he like does yard work. He'll come in and be like, I need Recover. And I was like, that doesn't count as a workout. But yeah, he really loves it too. So if you've never done the performance line and you do not have an issue with dairy because there's not a vegan version, then you may want to try it. It may really help you. Now, I did not do the creatine. I was committed to the other ones, but not the creatine. I think that's kind of more for guys who are trying to build a lot of bulk and muscle, and that wasn't really my goal. So I did the other half of the performance line, like just the other stuff. So Energize, Hydrate, Recharge, and Recover. And I really, really, really liked them. They helped me a lot. I did forget to drink the vanilla shake at night twice, and I woke up so sore. That's one of the things that it does, is it helps you to not be so sore the next day because it helps your muscles rebuild. And I was pretty skeptical about whether or not that would work. I was kind of like, yeah, right. Like, because I generally get really sore when I do new workout programs. Like the first couple weeks of a new program, I'm like hobbling around like a grandma around my house. And I didn't have it all this time. Like, it's insane. It almost makes you feel a little bit like a superhero because you're like, I feel awesome today. Day 2. Let's go.
I don't know if you did though, but I had it and I sleep better and I wake up because I'm a night owl. I work night shift for a long time as a nurse. And so I have the snacky thing at night too, but I'd have it and it would nip that in the butt. And then I would sleep sounder and then I'd wake up in the morning, not sore, but I'd wake up earlier and more energetic, and I'm not a morning person. So I really, my husband's like, this is interesting, this whole situation that's going on. You're not like you normally are. So, and I shared it with Becca, but I use my Hydrate. My daughter loves it. I make it into ice pops for her.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Instead of like Pedialyte ice pops, I make little ice pops and I mix in Hydrate. And so that's what I've been using my Hydrate for.
That's so smart. I take mine when we go out paddleboarding because we're out on the lake in the sun, and my 4-year-old loves it. I water his down a little bit more because it's kind of sweet, like if you do like the full serving. So I kind of do like double water. But I love it. And yeah, those little popsicles, you had like the cutest molds. That was such a brilliant idea for kids because then they don't have all the chemicals and junk in there.
Yeah,
exactly. It. Okay, so these are some of our results. Obviously not the final results because we have to take those this weekend. But as you can see just from the in progress, really crazy. So Jacqueline shared her stats. I can tell you a little bit about mine. I actually don't know what I weigh at all. I haven't gotten on the scale since the 30-day mark because like Jacqueline, I'm just not really into scales. They're actually kind of a trigger for negative self-talk for me. So I just avoid them because I like progress photos and measurements better. But since the test group makes us, I'll get back on it at the end and know my official stats. But I've been taking pictures all along the way and measuring, which is my favorite. And this, you guys, is the craziest thing to me. I actually like had to contact the Beachbody guys to be like, did I measure wrong? Because I don't believe my numbers. I've lost 17.75 inches all over. I lost almost 5 around my waist and about 4 in each thigh, like upper thigh problem area, which I don't even know how that's humanly possible because, I mean, like, that's ridiculous. But I double checked all the numbers and I measured myself twice each time just to make sure I wasn't doing it wrong. So crazy, crazy changes in like body shape. So that's something that I think everybody noticed in the program was, especially for the women, weight wasn't falling off quickly, but inches and body shape was changing really dramatically. So I think with this program especially, it's going to be so important for you as a coach to lead from the front with taking progress photos, having your challengers do that, and tracking not only your weight on the scale, but your measurements as well. Wouldn't you say, Jacqueline?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I've seen definition. Like I said, I'm expecting to actually get back on and have gained weight from when you see the pictures of the 40 mark, but I feel more defined. So I'll be okay with that. I'm okay. I reconcile myself.
Yeah.
as long as I feel good and healthy. And I mean, that's the space where I lead from in my groups too. I have a past eating disorder and body image issues. So in my mind, like as long as I'm feeling really good and I'm liking how things are measuring and how things are fitting and how I'm feeling, I'm good. I don't even need to look at the scale. So
I'm the same way, but I do think it's important to share, since that was something that in the test group, a lot of us girls were like, I haven't lost very much weight yet. The first week or two, it just took a little while, but people's progress photos, even in weeks 1 and 2, were pretty crazy. Like all the holiday bloat, all the puffiness, like people leaned out, like they started leaning out really quickly. And then like you started seeing all this crazy muscle definition start to develop. And you guys know, because you've been around a while, if you're building muscle, it's going to be heavier than the fat you're losing. So sometimes it skews your number on the scale. So measurements and pictures, I think, are going to be really clutch for this program, because it is a 60-day program. You're there for 2 months, and you don't want someone to quit just because week 2 they get on the scale and they've only lost 1 pound and they're like, I've been working so hard. You want them to be able to look and be like, yeah, but you look at your picture difference, like you've lost this many inches, this is insane, keep going. So just a little kind of coaching thing to tuck away for when you're leading your groups. Okay, so I wanted to move on. I asked the people in the challenge group, in the test group, if they would share, other than weight loss, because that's kind of like a given when you're doing these programs, what were some of the biggest changes or successes they'd had? And this is what they all shared. So I actually screenshotted this. I'll share it in the group so you guys can have it. I'm going to read a few of my favorites kind of across the board. So one of my favorite ones was Matt Rohde said, I have the energy to play with my kids for 5 hours straight. First time ever I outplayed them. And I loved that because I found that to be true for myself. Like my endurance and my stamina is way up, like just in life in general, for cleaning the house, for playing with Cadence, for having long days at, whatever we're doing. It's gone up across the board. I love that Susan Lucy, who's a little bit older, she said, I feel not defined by my age. I'm stronger, more agile, and quicker than I was in my 20s and 30s. So that's pretty crazy. And I think that's one that's kind of echoed a lot in here, is like speed and agility has gone up. Like people are really feeling like this athleticism come into play. And I felt the same way. So I played competitive volleyball all through high school, and I didn't play it in college. And I didn't realize how much I missed that like feeling of an athlete and feeling agile. And actually these workouts remind me a lot of volleyball conditioning, like with drills and, like that same kind of cadence, like she was saying, to the workouts. And I love that. So it really made me kind of like remember that. Joan said, for the first time, I feel like it's possible for me to have a flat tummy. It maybe even abs if I do one more round. Seeing results so quickly makes me want to stick with it, which is great. And I know for a lot of you guys who are new coaches that have signed up in the last year, you may be like, 8 weeks is not quick, Becca, because you're used to the 21-day mix. But in the grand scheme of fitness programs, a 2-month program is still pretty quick to be seeing your body transform. Like it's really not that long of an amount of time to get the results that people are getting. Miranda said, I've always been an athlete, but I've never been in the shape I am in now. I have all around strength. Physically, I can do more than I ever have. Mentally, I feel like I can fight through anything in life. Emotionally, I'm balanced and have been able to handle the curveballs and stay disciplined. Because of all of that, coupled with looking great and fitting into clothes I love, my confidence is high, which is huge coming from someone who previously struggled with an eating disorder in my younger years. Self-love is something new, and I love it. And I loved that because I echo a lot of those same thoughts. The drill kind of style of this is, for some reason, it just really helps build your confidence, and it really makes you feel like a warrior and like an athlete. And then when you get through it, you have that like, oh my gosh, I just did that. Like, I didn't think I could do it, and I did it. And you get stronger and stronger. And then like the next time you do that workout, you can do a couple more reps before you have to modify, or you can do a couple more before you get gassed. And you really do. You build this insane confidence and discipline that I feel like is a little different than other programs that I've done in the past. Like, that was kind of a cool thing for me. And then what was my other favorite one? Oh, Tara's. I feel like I'm finally able to have balance in my fitness life. I always thought I needed to work out for an hour, which made me super hungry and I had no self-control. And I'm eating well, working out less, and look better than ever. And I love that too, because I think that that is a common misconception, that we have to just literally kill ourselves at the gym or kill ourselves with cardio and hour-long workouts. And then we're ravenous and we go and we like eat out of control, and then we're not seeing results because there's no balance. And this program, I think, is really well balanced, which I like. Actually, I want to talk about that. Jacqueline, which bracket were you in? Were you in the first, the middle, or the highest for the nutrition plan?
I'm like where you were. So we both started in the lowest one. And then within 2 weeks, when we started having that conversation in the test group, I bumped myself because I was feeling really like snacky and depressed. And also that was like my moon cycle. So I was like, I need meat, I need protein, I went like crazy, but because I was lifting more than I normally am, like I said, I'm very low impact most of the time. And because I was lifting more, I think my muscles, were like, okay, feed me now. And so I had to up to that next category. And once I did, I felt so much better. Like I had so much more energy, and I actually overcame the plateau. Cause like Becca said, I initially like dropped and got toned and lost that float like right away, but then kind of plateaued near the end of month 1. And once I like had upped my bracket, then I started to see more changes again. So you have to be really, especially as women, we have to listen to our bodies. We're going to retain water at certain times of the month. We're going to need to have more protein or more aminos at certain other times. So just paying attention to how you're feeling would be what I would say.
Yeah. And actually, I think Oh, can you hear me? I think about 75% of the women in there that started in bracket 1 ended up bumping up to bracket 2. And I wanted to talk about that because I know that that is a sticking point for a lot of ladies, is you don't want to eat more food because then you get nervous that you're not going to lose the weight. And so you stay in a lower bracket and you're miserable and you're hungry all the time, and then you end up quitting or you end up cheating on the plan. So I wanted to tell you guys and let you hear from experience, I have never bumped up a bracket, and I've been on the 21 Day Fix / 21 Day Fix Extreme / this new plan for years now, since it first came out, because I love it. And I've always been in bracket 1. And this is the first time in my life I've ever been in bracket 2. And I feel better than I ever have. And it helped me get past the plateau as well. So I didn't lose, I lost a little bit of bloat initially in the beginning, but I kind of plateaued right from the start. And I didn't see a lot of progress for myself in the first week or 2. And I was terrified to move up a bracket because I was like, I'm already not seeing results. If I'm eating more food, then I'm surely not going to see results. And everybody in the test group was so encouraging and reminded me, like, sometimes you're just not eating enough for what you're doing. If you're not used to lifting, if you're not used to these kinds of moves and this type of program, your body might need more. And so I bumped up to the next bracket, and I literally felt like an angel chorus. I was like, another protein serving, another carb serving, extra fat servings. Like, I feel like I'm in heaven. Like, this is amazing. And it made the whole experience so much better. The results started coming as soon as I switched that bracket. I was better fueled for my workouts. I wasn't like hungry and feeling weak because I wasn't getting enough of the things I needed. And I just felt better, like emotionally. Like I didn't feel like I was deprived at all. I felt happy with the amount of food I was eating. Some days I would kind of hover in between brackets. Like some days I would only eat, 2/3 of my stuff for the day of my carbs, because that's kind of like in between bracket 1 and 2 or whatever. But I had it when I needed it. And that was what I really liked. Like Jacqueline was saying, you kind of have to pay attention to your body. And I could tell after the first couple of weeks when I needed that little bit extra. And so I would bump up with no guilt. So go into this with the mindset that if you need to bump up to the next category, do it without any guilt and don't be afraid, because it's actually counterintuitive that sometimes you need to eat more to be able to lose more weight, but your body needs it. You don't want your body to go into storage mode because then you get stuck and it's frustrating. And remember that with your challengers too. So a lot of your female challengers are going to be in category 1. Or they're going to want to be in category 1 because they think the less food they eat, the more weight they'll lose. And they may get stuck, and you can tell them, listen, a lot of the test group participants bumped up to bracket 2 and saw really good results. So you can kind of tell them with confidence to try that and just kind of encourage them, and that might help a lot. So moving on, who is 22-minute hardcore for? So I wrote out some of the things that came to my head, and if you read through these, you're going to be like, Becca, that's pretty much everybody, because it kind of is. But I think that people who, are military or veterans will especially love this. I think people who are athletes, who were athletes when they were younger, or who want to be athletes will especially love it. I think that busy people will love this because literally you can do this workout, take a photo of you doing your workout, post it, and shower in the amount of time that you can do most of the other workouts in Beachbody's catalog. So this is great if you're busy and you just want to get in and out and get results. I think CrossFit people will really love this because of like the drill sequencing. I think that this is a program that they'll kind of like dig. It's kind of similar to more like CrossFit than a lot of our other programs. I think that if you are at a plateau or you're bored with your current routine, this is kind of the perfect program to just kick your booty right out of that, to help you get past that. I think anybody who really wants to gain strength, so guys, girls, moms, if you're a mom and you kind of like have felt just like you haven't gotten that strength back after baby, I think this is a really good program for that. Obviously, after you're past your safety mark for working out. And like you could see from the test group, there were young people in there, there were older people in there. Everybody was enjoying it and having good results. So this is not a program only for young people. This is not a program only for people who are already active or already in good shape. It's really for people across the board. Lastly, where can you find information on hardcore and the launch? It's in your coach online office under frequently asked question 3716. That will be updated as the launch is rolling out. So if you want to screenshot this, write it down, post it in your team page, so that everybody knows where to go. Don't be someone who waits around for your upline coach to post all the information in a group. Go out and look it up yourself and be proactive about getting your links ready, like Jacqueline said, getting your contacts ready. Just because it hasn't launched yet doesn't mean you can't start collecting people's names and emails who want to be involved in it. So that's really exciting. So let us wrap up for the last couple minutes with some question and answer time. Does anybody, I know I had a couple people ask in the team page, but I think we maybe have answered those questions because it was about the meal plan and modifications. But does anybody have anything else? I'll go over here that way. If you want to write it in the chat, you can. Any questions for Jacqueline, since you guys see me all the time, but this is your chance to pick her brain. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for coming on at the last minute to talk with us. Are all of the workouts outside? All of them are not filmed outside, and you do not have to do them outside. What pull-up bar do you use? Was it the one sold by Beachbody? I don't have the one that's sold by Beachbody only because we already had one that we had just gotten on Amazon that was like stored away in a closet somewhere. But I have the little chin-up assist from Beachbody. I have the one that like it goes like around your door frame and like hooks on and has like a counterbalance. That's the one that I use. But I mean, really, there's so many good ones, and that they're not that expensive online. What weights was I at? So I started at 5s and 8s, and now I'm up to 10s for pretty much everything. 20 for the sandbag. Cardio intensive, like Jacqueline said, you alternate. So cardio resistance, cardio resistance, cardio resistance. And the resistance is still, it's more heart pumping than like hammer and chisel would be. Like you're not just kind of standing in one place doing bicep curls. Tony really loves those dynamic movements where you're using a lot of muscles at one time. I would liken the resistance to more like 21 Day Fix Extreme, where you're kind of like doing moves that combine more than one muscle group at a time. So you'll get sweaty and you'll have your heart rate get up even on the resistance days. Filmed. No, they're not all filmed outside. A lot of them are filmed outside, but some of them are filmed, I think, like in an airplane hangar or some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of like big empty military space. Someone who's military probably knows what that's called, like off the top of their heads. And I'm like, I don't know, it's some sort of silver room. And then, oh, a hangar. Yeah, that's probably what it's called. That's probably it. Thank you. So I don't think she's on here because she is in Paris and on a completely different time zone. But in case she listens to the recording, we had a question about someone who had a back injury, and she was asking if there was a lot of stuff you have to do on the ground and if that would be enough that you couldn't do the workout. Jacqueline, what do you think? I don't think so. There are some moves where you're on the ground, but I don't think it's enough moves that you couldn't benefit from the program by just modifying or skipping those if they were bothering your injury.
Yeah, it would depend on where the back injury was. They say lower or upper.
Let me look really quick what she said.
Because I don't know. Back is tricky only because some of the motions that you use, you're doing a lot of up and downs. So I would be wary. Like with my shoulder, those are modifications that are easier to do. But with back, like because you're getting up and down a lot, I would caution, like to know where it is and to be very mindful because you don't want to jar and you don't want to.
Right. She says, I have tile and scar tissue on my spine and would have to modify that even with a jump mat. So I'm guessing that like the bones of her spine, if they push onto the ground, they hurt. So
yeah,
extra cushion.
Yeah.
A lot of the core stuff will you're going to be down on the ground. There's only a few moves in the actual workouts where you're like back would touch the ground and they're rolling ones. So you could do like kind of half the move and modify the rolling if you needed to. Oh, let me scroll up. Jacqueline, if you see anything you want to answer, just. Yeah, I'll lead a specific one in March, just for hardcore, and then I'll have my normal March group separate from that. That's people who are just doing kind of all different programs. So I'll have 2 going, and all of you are welcome to join. How are the workouts arranged? Is it like 21 Day Fix where you lost it? Where you do the same ones every week in the same order? No, it's not like that where every Monday is cardio, every Tuesday is upper. It's actually kind of sporadic. I haven't looked at it to see if there's like a big pattern, but I personally felt like it was very like mixed up, which I liked. Other than the fact that you alternate cardio and resistance workouts, the workouts themselves, because there's different versions of cardio and different versions of resistance, I felt like they did a good job of mixing them up, especially as you progressed. Would you say, Jacqueline?
Most definitely. Like I never got bored. Like I don't know how much we can share. So there's like 3 levels, but then there's like the graduate level, if you will. And so they do a great job of like mixing it up each week so that you're not ever starting on the same thing every time. I've not felt bored with anything, which I think with other programs, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what today is. Every day I'm like, okay, what is today? Because it's mixed up. So I like that about it.
Yeah, I've had to look every day. I haven't been able to like guess what was coming next, other than I knew if it was going to be a cardio day or a resistance day. I didn't know which workout it was going to be, which I really liked. And even like she was saying, there's different levels. They'll kind of like toss you back and forth, especially after you've been in it a while. Like it's not just like your first week you do level 1, your second week you do level 2, your third week you do level 3. Like they mix it up for you, and you may do like a level 1 workout even when you're farther into the program to kind of like shake things up. And I really liked that because it's kind of fun to go back to the workouts that were so challenging in the beginning and like crush them and then feel kind of like a rock star. except those burpees at the end of that cardio one. You guys did that one, so I can talk about the moves. Those get me every time. It doesn't matter how long I've been doing the program. Anytime I go back to cardio one, I'm like, oh my gosh, at the end, like counting burpees. Okay, let me go up. I haven't decided on a start date yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to wait till the cruise is over to start it, or start it the week before the cruise and have somebody who's not going on the cruise kind of take the lead. So I don't know, because I don't want to kill the excitement by having everybody order on launch week and then have to wait till like the 20th to start. So we'll see. If you guys want to vote on that, maybe we can take a vote. Jacqueline, you're going on the cruise. What are you doing for your timing?
We're gonna like push the launch, but we're gonna start the 21st. So when we're back, like right when we're back, the challenge group starts.
That's
so
what
I wanted.
I think most people are doing.
Yeah, I wanted to allow enough time for people to order and for any shipping snafus to get worked out, so that we could all start and be very energetic together. Of course, people that get it and are ready to go, they're welcome to start ahead of time. But I mean, if everybody wants to start together, that's when I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of basically doing like a 21-day fix round for challengers in March, kind of leading up to it, and then feeding right into.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
There'll basically be 2 March challenge groups, but like one will start kind of like 3/4 of the way through. Did I miss anything? $82 burpees. Yeah, Lisa counted. 6 days a week. So you have a rest day, which is nice. That was a good question. Yeah, so you do Sunday. You have a Sabbath, if you will. Yeah, so that was kind of fun for me because I've been doing 21-day fix rounds back to back to back. So I was kind of like in a workout every day thing. So it was kind of a treat to get to have Sundays off. It was kind of weird. I like didn't know what to do with myself. Actually, though, this was something that I talked with Nate about. There were a couple times where I really wanted to skip my workout for the day. And I was like, in my head, I was like, well, I'll just do it Sunday and I'll take my rest day now. And I didn't do it. And I want to share that with you guys because it was a really good lesson for me in having intentional rest days and not reactive rest days. So like not just taking your rest day because it's 8 p.m. and you haven't done your workout yet and you're feeling lazy, because that's not a real rest day. Like you didn't have that as your rest day in your head where you could really capitalize on knowing that it was your active rest day and like having that mentality of it being your rest day and looking forward to it and giving yourself that time. That is like a reactive rest day because you're kind of reacting to the fact that you didn't plan well or life got in the way or whatever. So every time I did that, Nate actually gave me a hard time about it and was like, don't do that. Like have your real rest day. Just get your workout done. It's so short. And I would go do it and I would be so happy because then Sunday would come and I would have that full day where I could like totally mentally know it was my rest day. If I wanted to do some yoga, I could. If I wanted to go paddleboarding, just go for a walk, whatever, to have like kind of an active rest day. And I really liked that. So I'd encourage you guys to do that too if you get into the program. Can you say anything more about the meal plan? I mean, I don't really know what it's pretty much what everybody's used to with the portion containers. It's not really anything crazy different from what's already been being used. Jacqueline, do you think there's anything crazy? I mean, I think it's gonna feel really natural. I wouldn't say it's identical to the 21-day fix. It's more the portion fix. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they've said that yet. I think that's actually something that people were asking about. I don't know if it's going to have the containers. Did you see if they updated that at all, Jacqueline? Did anybody see? Yeah, I'm not sure. The picture.
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen that they did, but I thought that they were going to. Maybe it's going to be only part of the deluxe, but I don't know that it's been specified.
Yeah, I don't know. The picture, the reason people were confused is because like the picture they put up didn't have it. So they told us it'll launch at $140, so I'm assuming that's the promo price. All right, anybody else? Because it's 10 and I don't want to keep everybody too late. Anybody have anything else for Jacqueline? Because you guys can ask me anything in our page. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they'll probably finalize all those things really within the next couple of days because the launch is so soon. And then they'll probably update the FAQ. So that FAQ number that we showed before, that's the place to check in to get all those kind of info. All right, last call for questions for Jacqueline. Anybody? Just lots of thank yous. Thank you, Jacqueline, so much for carving out time in your afternoon. It was so fun to see you live, not just a picture.
I know. I'll see you soon on the cruise.
Yeah, see you on the cruise. All right.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great night.